Moontree, we try and pick products as much as we can with local content. And it's funny that while we're doing that, we come across lots of lovely stories and wonderful people that are driven more by emotion and passion for what they do than a monetary outcome. And I just want to tell you one story about my mate Tony, and his name's Tony B, and he makes honey, or his bees make honey. But Tony is sort of really aligned with his bees and their aspect in the environment. He can tell me things like how long bees live on different kinds of pollen. He can tell me that he has to move them. He can tell me how long bees stay in the hive before they become a productive part of the beehive. When you talk about things in worldwide phenomena like hive collapse and all the problems that they're having with what is really the understory of our whole agricultural product, when I get it from the ground up, you know, it really comes home, it means a lot. For example, Tony says the best stuff out there for bees is what we call Patterson's Curse or blue flower. It'll keep a bee alive for 6 to 8 weeks. Now, a bee stays inside the hive for about 3 weeks, and then you get some productive life out of that bee, which maintains the life of the hive. Now, that's a nutritional factor. And on doing some research, I found out one of the key elements in hive collapse in Europe is that they're starting to look at nutritional factors. All right, so if there's less nutrition in the environment, beehives will not survive. Now, Australia, funnily enough, is one of the last places in the world where we have viable bee populations, but currently they're under threat. There's no assistance. The best thing we can do is support people who support those animals. And Tony brings me seasonal varieties of honey, and this one is yellow stringy because that's in flower or a month or two ago, but his honeys will change. Once we have even had a wonderful thing called jellybush, which was a rare flowering of a particular leptospermum. That's the equivalent or better than New Zealand's manuka, and it comes right from here, and I've got it right on your doorstep. And this beautiful stuff, we can go through different changes. It's like tasting champagne sometimes. I have lots of little kids come in here, what honey is it this time, Mum? We get out the spoons and we can choose from 2 or 3 or 4 or more, but that's right from the hive. It's also not pasteurized, which means it contains all the goodness that keeps you healthy. The oxygen content, the enzymes, everything that's antibacterial and antifungal in a beehive is in there. It hasn't been taken out, it hasn't been ruined. Some raw honeys will crystallize, and it's because of that crystallization process is why they cook them to 140 degrees. That honey then becomes a pure sugar. It's not a complex sugar which takes longer for your body to digest. Raw honey doesn't activate insulin the same way the sugar does. If it's been pasteurized, it's been ruined, it's just turned into a sugar. This is the real deal, and that's from Tony B.